words and sounds of her voice. My parents entered me in a singing competition at the age of 4. I sang a song called Ratne Kalpitamasanam. It was about Lord Shiva. I was prepared and practiced, which gave me confidence and courage. Yet at the same time, my heart pounded nervously as I looked into the faces of an audience of 100 people. I began to sing in a Carnatic voice. Ratne Kalpitamasanam. I gave it my best. I won first prize! I felt powerful. Then the time came when my power was threatened. I was just a typical 5-year-old in preschool. Singing and dancing were my passions. My baby brother had just been born, and I cooed at him every chance I got. One day during dance practice, my head started to spin. I felt sweaty, shaky, and no amount of water could quench my thirst. My teacher noticed me looking a bit unusual, so she called my parents. Mom and Dad took me to urgent care. Well, the tests began, and soon I was in the emergency room. That led to more tests, and there were a lot of tubes going in and around me. My parents were told to pack 2 days of supplies and clothes, since I would likely stay for a bit. I was very confused about what was going on. The nurses were pricking my fingers every couple of hours. Then the shots started. If I wanted to eat something, the nurses would do some calculations and give me another shot. I hated this. When I was sent home a few days later, my parents had to keep pricking my fingers and giving me shots. No way was I agreeing to this. My parents resorted to bribery. Whenever they needed to prick my finger or give me a shot, I was given a Dora the Explorer toy. I ended up with dozens of them, until my parents finally explained why I had to be poked and prodded. Srinika, you have type 1 diabetes. It was life-threatening if I didn't get medication throughout the day and night. My life was going to be different than it had been. I was going to be different than I had been. I was different from the other kids at school. I eventually agreed with the need to be pricked and poked. I didn't like the fact that I couldn't just eat whenever I wanted to. I had to test my sugar levels first, then get a shot before I could eat anything. Type 1 diabetes affected my social life. I could go to birthday parties, but I often couldn't have cake. Just veggies. And sometimes I had to step out of the fun and into the bathroom to get a shot. My friends saw I was different because one of my parents was always with me to manage my food and activities. Kids like me have to wear a monitor on their arms all the time, even at school. The monitor sounds an alarm when the kid's blood sugar is out of normal range. It's challenging to maintain our blood sugars in the target range, even 50% of the time. Kids like me have to embarrassingly walk out of class and into the nurse's office to be tested and injected. Some other ways T1D kids are different are: low blood sugar can cause us to faint. It's happened to me twice. We love sweets like typical children, but sometimes we have to eat them, even when we don't want to, like the middle of the night. Sometimes we don't get to eat for hours. We hate getting shots and sometimes they don't even work. Then what? We might try 10 different solutions. At first, we feel ashamed to share our illness with friends. We worry about what they will think of us. There are even people who make fun of our differences. Oh, here's something to know. Emotional excitement or distress can significantly tip our blood sugar levels, so teasing a T1D kid can be dangerous. We have to avoid bullies. One boy ridiculed me, saying that I was too stupid to be an endocrinologist because of my diabetes. Those are the doctors who treat diabetes. I stood my ground with that kid, told him to mind his own business, and that I was perfectly capable of paving my own path. At least once a day, someone accidentally hits the monitor on my arm, and it causes pain. Besides wearing a monitor and needing to be on top of our food intake, sometimes we T1D kids have to eat lunch before or after the rest of the class at school. Some days we can't run on the playground with the others, while some days we can. T1D becomes difficult to hide. I eventually accepted a mom role, my own manager. Like the ways a mother protects her children, I learned to protect myself. And as my disease evolves, my management knowledge evolves as well. My school nurse taught me how to prick my fingers and capture the blood for testing. She also taught me how to give myself shots after calculating the amount of insulin needed each shot. And my school counselor came into my classroom to teach my fellow students about ways my body didn't work to make insulin. When I became my own manager, I accepted my differences, shared them with others, and generally took charge of my own self-care. All kids with type 1 diabetes can accept the role of a mom as well. Now that type 1 diabetes is a life companion, I've learned to face it and embrace it. You can too. I've learned to speak up clearly about my needs, come out of my shell, and not be afraid to own my space. My parents don't need to accompany me to parties and other activities any longer. I put together my mom pouch. This My Own Manager pouch includes test strips, needles, insulin, snacks, and if I hadn't outgrown her, there would be a Dora the Explorer toy in there too. It goes with me everywhere. You can do the same. By accepting a mom role and managing type 1 diabetes, kids are able to share their differences and build a supportive community. Today, start putting together your own self-care pouch, including testing supplies, needles, insulin, fast and slow carbs, and a toy or something of comfort to you. Start today to share your differences and take on the mom persona. When you own your space, your community will gather around you. Since my diagnosis, I've given myself around 12,000 shots and still poke my fingers 5 to 6 times a day. This makes me different than most kids in my school. Nevertheless, my friends, nurses, admins, teachers, school counselors, and doctors have rallied around me to form a community that cares. According to the International Diabetes Federation, around 1.1 million children like me live with type 1 diabetes all over the world. If you're 1 in a million like I am, take on the mom, my own manager method, and share your differences and gifts. Build your community. And most importantly, take your power back.